All right, we are now live on Wade's Ventures YouTube channel, guys. Welcome in. We have one exciting night, guys. We have a guest that has been requested multiple times throughout these interviews in the last few months. And without further ado, we have him on tonight, guys. Let's say hello to some people in chat, and then we will go ahead and introduce our amazing guest and get into this. Today is Tuesday, guys. And as you know, Mondays, Tuesdays, and Wednesdays, we do these cool interviews. We not only uncover, in this case, we have a very seasoned, seasoned resellers, both in Poshmark and eBay, but nonetheless, we have a great show tonight, guys. Let's go ahead and say hello. We got Grandma Wrinkles in here. What's up, Grandma Wrinkles? You have a really cool name, by the way. And we have Thrifty Santa. What's going on, Thrifty? Amy's in the house. Stitch Witch, welcome in, welcome in. And then we have our amazing admin who has not missed a live show yet. I'm waiting for the day. It probably will never happen. Cats Meow. You guys should go check out our video that we did. Cindy, what's going on? Nancy, what's going on? Crafty, what's going on? James, what's going on? Mary, what's going on? And I thought I'd run out of names, but we got Flippin' Daily in here. What's going on, guys? Kim, what's going on? So welcome in, guys. Without further ado, I'm going to let our amazing guests, a couple, introduce themselves.
Hi, everyone. My name is Karen.
And I'm Jay.
We are the Thrifty Flamingo. We are Poshmark sellers, like full-on Poshmark sellers. We also sell on eBay. We dabble in eBay more for hard goods, but for clothing, Poshmark is our gig.
Yes, it is. Yeah, we've been doing. I've been doing Poshmark for about 6 months, and Karen's been on there forever.
Men of Poshmark.
And I've learned quite a bit from her. So she's a great teacher, and she's a great person to learn from. So.
Jay, first and foremost, like you said 6 months, but I've been watching your live shows and you are spitting off these brands. What is going on? That was a quick turnaround for 6 months. Like it was really weird. I think it was yesterday, possibly, maybe the day before that. I was watching the live show and he was spitting off these brands like nobody's business. And some of these weren't even men's brands. So
That's all Karen's fault. I've learned a lot from her. I've always had a little bit of a knack for fashion too. I've always known how to dress myself right. Even though I'd wear t-shirts all the time, if I have to dress up, I can do it. And I learn it quick. So I'm a quick learner. And we really started going. Karen started the men's closet back in October after she went to Posh Fest, and I took over the men's closet in January. So it's been up till from January. I've been working the men's closet full time.
And then he hears me talk all the time, and I would take him with me. I was kind of prepping him because I knew the day was coming. I talking brands to him, even stuff like he's never heard of. So it all just was like seeping in. And now look at him.
You should have seen me in the beginning. I was making bad buys like crazy. So
he was buying like Faded Glory and stuff.
I bought some Target brands. I thought Morono was a great brand or whatever, and Jason Penny brands. And if it looked good, I was like, "This is gonna sell. This has got to sell. Look, they got holes in the jeans. That's great.
Look, it's new with tags."
Honestly, like I enjoy watching. I learned so much from you guys. I just want to first of all, let's get this out of the way. Everybody in chat knows that I am into Poshmark now. I love Poshmark. I love just the atmosphere of it. But you're probably my most favorite Poshmark channel, hands down, to watch, because not only do you guys give great information, but like you can truly tell that you two love what you're doing. It comes across extremely well, and I think it's really cool as a couple, and we'll get into this. You both have a full-time job selling online, and then also on the same platform like Poshmark and eBay. It's crazy.
Well, thanks for that. We really appreciate that, by the way. So thank you.
Yes. So let's get into this.
But I don't blush.
Hey, I'll blush for you because it is like 80 degrees in here, guys, and I'm gonna have to move my operation into the house. So if you guys see, like, it's me not crying, I promise.
In the garage, no air conditioning in the garage, huh?
No, well, kind of. I have the door open, but that's about it. I need to get back into the house, I think, guys. But all right, so here's the thing, guys. Those of you who just joined chat or possibly have never seen the live show, we are going to talk about Poshmark. We want to get in depth with it. Tonight's show is going to be a little bit different because these guys have been doing it for a while, and I want to make sure they give you guys some good nuggets. But first, the first 15 or 20 minutes or so, I kind of want to ask them some personal questions, see how they got started reselling online, how they met. And so we'll get into that, and then we'll get into some Q&A at the end. If you guys have questions, put them in chat, please. And I will not answer them. I'll let them do it. But because I just had guys, I had the most, what was my question the other day? Like some admin shared my closet or something, and then all of a sudden she swooped in and answered it for me. It was amazing. I can't remember what it was, but all right. So we know it's full time. Give us the background when you guys first started. Like, when did you first, I know Poshmark's fairly new, but how did you first start your reselling journey? And then what was the day that you started Poshmark, and why did you start Poshmark?
Karen, that's all you, right?
Yeah, so it kind of came in two little bits. I started eBay in 2008, but not as a business. I was actually selling on Etsy. I'm a creator. I made fashion. I love to sew, and I had an Etsy store. So I opened up an eBay store to liquidate all my extras. I got extra fabric, and kind of like recoup some of my money to put back into more clothing. So that gave me like a little brief taste of it. But that wasn't really supporting us. It was more of a hobby. And then a couple of years go by, and I had a job, and my job made me really immobile. And so I got really heavy. And so I 50 pounds?
50 pounds, yeah.
Almost 50 pounds. And so I changed my eating habits. I went to the gym. I got a trainer, lost all this weight. And then I had all these clothes that didn't fit me. And so I was searching online, for cheap clothing. So I couldn't just buy a whole new wardrobe. I didn't have the funds for it. And then Facebook, like this Poshmark app popped up. It must have like known my search terms and like what I've been looking for. You know how that happens. And all of a sudden it was like buy and sell used clothing. And I was like, oh, free app. Okay. And kind of the rest is history. But for a while, I wasn't treating it like a business. It was pretty much me selling my clothes to purchase more clothes. And I joined the app in 2013. So they were only Poshmark for maybe like not even 2 years before I joined them, like right out of a garage kind of. And it really wasn't a business in my mind for quite some time. Yeah. I haven't been going hard except for like the past year and a half. I was like, wow, I can do this. I could do this and turn my Poshmark closet into a business. And then he started seeing me go from just clothing myself to actually paying bills and saving money. Yeah. And at first he didn't get it.
No, I used to think she had an obsession with this app that I had no idea. This is when she first started. I'm like, what are you obsessed with? What are you doing? Are you online talking to other people? You trying to find another boyfriend? What's going on here? She's always on her phone. And, then she started getting all these new clothes. And I'm like, where's the money coming from for this? How are you getting all these new clothes? And it just evolved naturally to the point where she showed me how she could grow this into a business. And it was at that point that I really got excited and started to dive into it and learn as much as I could about it. So
yeah, there were points where he would kind of get jealous of the phone. I'd be like, I got to go share my stuff to the party. He's like, what are these parties you keep speaking of? Can't we just watch a movie together? He wouldn't get mad, but he'd get really short once in a great while, because he didn't understand it. And then he saw the money, and money speaks for itself.
Money's a great motivator, yeah, that's
definitely.
For sure.
So now he understands completely, so completely.
Okay, so first and foremost, Jay, I agree with you 100%. If I didn't know what the heck was going on, and she was like, I gotta share this in a party. Oh my gosh. Guys, who was it? Let's see. Becky said, start with the juicy stuff. I would say that was pretty juicy. And so, okay, we got a lot of cool comments, guys. First live show, and it is with Thrifty Flamingos. Yes. Okay, so let's go ahead and get into this, guys. So how did you guys meet before even reselling? How did you guys meet? I know that you guys were coworkers, right?
Yeah, it was about when was it? 2005. 2005.
Long time.
We were. I was working at TGI Fridays as a server. Karen was a bartender, and we'd both been working at the restaurant for quite some time. One night, I'd lost my job there, so I wasn't working there anymore. And we were still hanging out as friends. And one night we went down to this bar together, and my friend got a DUI, and the rest is history. We had to take a taxi cab home for he drove, so we had to take a taxi home for about an hour ride, and we ended up fooling around in the cab, and the rest is history.
It's kind of like a story you don't, when you have kids,
you don't really tell that story.
To come up with a fluffier version of it. Like, how'd you meet yeah.
That was first of all, guys, everybody that's in chat knows I made this mistake. Don't bring your date on a movie where you guys can't talk. And I guess that brings me to my next thing, is the fact that they had to talk for an hour. So, had that not happened, I don't know if you guys would, that is awesome. We know who makes the drinks in the family. That was my next question.
We both do, actually, but I pour the scotch, she pours the mixed drinks.
He pours it. He was like, look, I could pour it straight up. I was like, anybody can pour a drink straight up.
Do you what was some of your favorite drinks to make, by the way?
Pretty much anything but frozen drinks. Frozen drinks were such a pain in my booty. At the bar I worked at, it was they made me flip bottles. Like, I have never juggled in my life. Like, they were like, okay, here's a plastic bottle you could practice with. And I'm like, well, good, because if I start flipping glass bottles, I'm getting cut. Like, I'm getting hurt. And I actually placed second in a competition with it. But I had bruises on my hand. I think I actually fractured part of one of my, many bones in the hand at one point. No pain, no gain. But it wasn't so much like what drinks I hated or liked to make. It's like I knew what I didn't like to make.
So first and foremost, I want to ask this question is, how, like, you both had full-time jobs, right?
Yes.
Even part-time jobs. How amazing is it? We talked a little bit about this before the show, but how amazing is it that not only do you get to like work with your amazing lady there, your wife, your partner, but how really cool is it the fact that you can work for yourself, you can wake up, you know exactly what you need to do, make a living selling online.
It's just incredible right now.
Amazing.
I mean, what I used to do, I was a traveling salesman, and I actually sold liquor. Was my last job, and I would have to drive all over the state in a car for 8 hours a day, 4 days a week, and drive and go in and do all this stuff. And now I wake up at 9 o'clock in the morning, 8 o'clock in the morning. We roll out of bed, we do our shares, we get on the computer, we do what we got to do, and it's just awesome.
Yep, like every morning, like I give us like, this is what we need to do to accomplish our entire day, start to finish. And then we kind of like, I don't put like exact time frames on it, because some things go a little longer, some things go shorter, but I give like general consensus. This should be done around here. And it works. It really works. We are really good at communicating. If we weren't, there'd be more problems than just our business, relationship wise, but it's awesome, because I could be taking photos and be like, oh no, could you just share my closet really quick? Or, I'm getting my Poshmark notifications are blowing up, and he'll jump on my iPad, take care of it while I'm doing something else, or vice versa. It really is. The teamwork's amazing.
And the best part about it is we're putting in part-time hours right now, but we're getting full-time income back. So it's just so great with how reselling works like that. We don't have to work 80 hours a week to really just, we'll go sourcing 3 or 4 times a week, and we'll do this and that. But that's the fun part. We're really putting like part-time hours in with listing and photography and all that, and we're getting full-time income in return. So.
That's the main part that has changed from going when I had my job to now, is I can source at different times. I was very limited working for somebody else, when I could go out sourcing. Now we can source for longer bouts, and that takes more time. But the amount of time that we actually spend on the app and listing is pretty much the same. Yeah, than it was. Yeah.
So guys, everybody that's in chat, what house we need to visit if we want to have a few cocktails, right?
You're more than welcome. We're having a pig roast in July. So
I can't go on vacation. Like, if we go to Virginia Beach every year, the family rents a house. We all get there, like all bits of our family, and everyone's like, "Karen, make me a drink." I'm like, "Can I be on vacation too?"
So first and foremost, I think that's really cool. I love getting people's perspective when they work full time, and now they're full time selling online. I think that's really cool. And I wanted to ask this question, guys, for chat. First, I want to know, do you guys sell on Poshmark? So yes or no, if you sell on Poshmark currently. And then also I want to know if you're already subscribed to their amazing YouTube channel. And we're going to talk about that towards the end of the show. But I'm really curious to see those of you who are already subscribed to their YouTube channel. Put that below. 2 questions. But so real quick, what does the family and friends think of you guys selling full time, both on Poshmark and eBay? Like when you say that you sell full time on Poshmark, especially you, Jay, what is their like? What kind of like a reaction do you get out of people?
My dad absolutely loves it. He loves the fact that we're doing this, that we're making money, and that we're doing our own hustle, and it's awesome. We're doing our own thing. My mom takes some convincing from once in a while. She's always had a negative connotation. It's how she was brought up. So she looks at it as, why aren't you earning a paycheck? You need to have a paycheck to survive. And it's just not the case, but she doesn't quite get it. She's starting to come around now that she's seeing a lot of this money flowing our way that we're making. She's starting to come around with her realization that we could actually do this.
But it's hard to undo her mindset.
Yeah.
She's very, like old school, and I'm like, Debbie, what else do you need to see? We moved into a big house, like we not a huge house, but we moved up from where we were. Like, what is different? When I quit like my job and I gave my notice, and she thought I was crazy. She's one of my biggest supporters, but she is the most negative supporter I've ever had. It's like the craziest thing. She'll give me clothes every 6 months when she does closet switch over. She'll be like, here, sell these. Thanks, Debbie. But then she's like, well, where's your paycheck? I go, and I said this to her once. I go, what do you want me to do? Write myself out a check and put it in the same account it comes from? I don't think the bank's going to like that so much. I'm like, just because I'm not making a paycheck every Friday or every other week doesn't mean I don't get paid. And she just doesn't get it.
As far as our friends go, our friends really love what we do. They know what we do. One of our friends used to work for us. Another one of our friends is actually taking her place and coming into work for us now. So that we have a new employee that we're bringing on in training, and it's all friends. We can trust them. We can trust them with the eBay account. We can trust them with our inventory and everything. So it's great. I mean, we have great supportive friends that are really helping us do what we do.
That's awesome. And by the way, guys, I think that your videos and just kind of see the progression, because I can tell you guys, you've been, we talked a little bit about this before, but you have an extremely fast growing YouTube channel. And not only do you guys have good content, but I think part of that is the fact that there's a lot of eBay YouTubers, but there's not as many Poshmark. And if you bring really good content and people are really interested in Poshmark, and so I just want to commend you guys for growing this ways. I mean, you've done some really good stuff, and we'll talk about, you do have a cool course, and we'll talk about that towards the end of the video too, that I would love people to know. So real quick, before we get into the juicy stuff, as I think Nancy said, let's real quick, I always take feedback on my channel. Those who joined late, do you mind giving like a 10-second who you guys are real quick? For those that joined late.
Sure, go for it.
Oh, yeah. Sorry. My name is Karen.
And I'm Jay, and we're the Thrifty Flamingo.
We're Poshmark sellers. My Poshmark closet name is Pink Flamingo BTQ.
Mine is Posh_Penguin, and we also sell on eBay.
Yeah.
And by the way, guys, I asked that question, were you already subscribed? And a lot of people said yes. And I just want to say you guys are already joining the flock, the Flamingo flock, right?
Yay!
And so I see a lot of these same faces in your guys' live chat. So really, really cool, guys. And if you're not subscribed, periodically I'm going to be putting their YouTube channel in, so you guys can go hit that subscribe button. But let's get into
Don't forget to hit that thumbs up button for Wade, too. Make sure you're giving him all the likes he needs. So
Jay, my man, you know what? You got one lucky husband over there. Seriously. Real quick, before we get into, he's mine? I see. Okay, so real quick, guys, when you're a thrifter, you go into other people's house, or maybe you're out thrifting, or you're out walking the dog, and you see their clothes, you kind of inspect what they're wearing. Do you guys do that? When you guys go into the thrift store, or you see people walking, you're like, oh, they're wearing Lululemon or whatever the case may be?
We can usually tell who a reseller is by what they're wearing at the thrift stores. If we see somebody wearing Adriana Goldschmidt or Seven for All Mankind, A Pocket, something like that, we're like, yep, this guy's a reseller. We know right off the bat that he's there doing the same thing we are. And you can tell, you can really differentiate between who's a reseller and who isn't by what they're wearing at the thrift store.
I notice I do that a lot when I go into somebody's house that I've just met, or like, you know, into a place of business. I'm kind of like, you know, what's that over there? Oh, you can't fade over there.
Dollar signs, like you hear the eBay, like
pop out of your mind, and
look at that Michael's clips right there. Some Jimmy Choo going on.
Yes.
Not so much like my friends or anything, because I know what my friends like wear, but sometimes strangers, it's hard not to look at something and not think of what you
we're putting a dollar sign on clothing every day, so we get pretty good at the point where we can look at something and know exactly what we're going to be able to flip that for and go from there. So
that, I think that's awesome.
And I've actually heard stories of people buying clothes off strangers that they've met just because they can resell that jacket. In fact, our good friend Steve Reagan, who's helped us a lot, was out in Vegas, and he actually caught one of his friends who was with him, bought a Kansas City's Chiefs, like a vintage satin jacket, like a satin, one of those satin jackets from the 90s, and he bought it for like $20 from this guy who was gambling at the casino and ended up selling it for $85. So
he bet his shirt. He bet his jacket.
Yeah.
Wow, that is incredible, guy. That, first of all, the fact that you know who lost at the tables, right? So, he was like needing. All right, so let's get into this, guys, real quick. Tell me what state you live in. The reason I ask this question is I kind of like to know where you're thrifting now. So give us a little snapshot of what state you're living in and kind of where you like to thrift.
We live in Connecticut, and we live in the Northeast. So Connecticut's very small. Our everyday haunts, our inner general area, we're very lucky to be living in a city. I mean, I guess I want to call it lucky at this city, but the city we live in Connecticut is kind of surrounded by a lot of upper middle class, which we like. That's where it goes to our thrift stores, you know, because they don't have their own individual thrift stores in the suburbs. I've noticed that. So we do pretty good just in our general area.
Yeah,
but when we spread out, we'll go, you know, more towards New York, because we could get to New York State
in like
half an hour.
Yeah, state.
State. Yeah. And into New York City in about an hour and 20. So we can venture. We could get Springfield in about 40 minutes. So
right within our like 30-mile radius, there's about 15 or 20 thrift stores that are all great to go shopping at, that have great product in any direction. You go 10 miles in any direction, and you're going to find 4 or 5 thrift stores that have really good product at it.
Because we're such a small state.
We're really lucky in that aspect, and that's why I think we've been doing so well, is that there's so much condensed into this little area that we can just hit up and whenever we need to. And if the prices go up somewhere, then they're going to go down somewhere else. So it's great.
Keep it moving, go somewhere else, right?
I think that's really cool. Give us a day in the life of you guys. So I know you work as a couple, but like, do you have thrifting days that you like to thrift? And then how do you work Poshmark? Because that's ultimately what a lot of people want to know. It's like, when you get the item and it goes through like a day in the life of once you grab that item, what's next?
So sourcing, we usually tend to stick to we try to go to Goodwill's on Sundays, because that's our 50% off day. That's when they change the color and everything is fresh. So we go to Goodwill's on Sunday, and we'll keep thrifting Tuesday to probably Wednesday or Thursday. We'll go to different stores. And then sometimes we'll hit tag sales on the weekend, and then
yard sales.
Tag sales, yard sales, whatever you want to call them, garage sales.
See, I caught you with that one.
And then as far as Poshmark goes, we kind of sprinkle it in between all that stuff. So when we go sourcing, we'll come home and we'll process the inventory, and then we'll both go and we'll take a few pictures and we'll start listing, and we'll do that every day. So we sprinkle Poshmark in throughout our sourcing and all that. And it really works out for us that way.
Yeah, so if we get a lot of, like, we go Sundays when they change the color at the Goodwills, because our Goodwills don't have these amazing sales that I hear a lot of people have. Like, they don't have, like, dollar days or, like, 50-cent days. I'm like, where is that? They just have, like, 50% off the color, like, every single Goodwill in this area. So when we get, like, a lot of stuff, we have a really big haul. Like, Mondays, a lot of processing, either cleaning, steaming, and photographing. But we try to get it all done within at least a day, maybe 2, depending on how big the haul is. And then we have all of it in our devices so we can list as needed, and just we kind of batch. We batch our photos, and then we type out as many listings as we can, and we have them there. Phone number, we just need to plug in a few listings. Keep the Poshmark algorithm gods happy.
We batch out all the tasks. So we will always, at any given time, we'll have at least 5 listings each to pop on Poshmark. And we'll keep going like that, and we'll keep collecting them throughout the week, and then we'll just post when we can.
Because then there's some days that you can't go sourcing. We love going to yard sales. We love going at least Saturday, but sometimes we'll do Saturday and Sunday after the Goodwill. But sometimes it rains. Yeah. And then everything's canceled, and you might find that one lonely person with everything shoved into their actual garage. And so it's not even worth it. So on days that you can't predict the weather, you have to be prepared for it. You can't say, I don't have any inventory, because that's going to affect your sales.
Now we do have first of all, I think that's I like the fact that you batch. First of all, who takes? Do you guys have defined roles, or do you guys kind of do both? Does somebody take photos?
No, Karen used to take all the photos, but she taught me how to take decent photos. So now I take all the men's stuff. Karen takes all the women's stuff. We share the hard goods between me and her when we do eBay hard goods. But we both do the photography. We both do the listings. We're running 2 closets at the same time, there's 2 of us, so we can get, both closets ran at once, and from start to finish.
But I used to, because I have been taking photos for so long. I even took photography when I took some college courses. I like taking the photos. And he's never been good at it. He's the guy at the amusement park. He's
cut someone's head off.
Take a picture of me with the Disney castle in the background, and it's their feet. And I knew that. So my big plan was okay, well, I'll just be in the studio all day taking all mine, all his, and I can just airdrop him all the pictures. I was getting overwhelmed with men's stuff and women's stuff, and I was kind of going, I can't do this all. I have to train him to take photos, because we doubled the amount of clothing we were bringing in, opening up a second closet.
Well,
she taught me well.
Thank you.
She taught you well. Guys, if you want to see a picture of Jay over there taking photos, let me know on Instagram. We'll make it happen. So we have a couple comments here. Steve Reagan. People said that, have you ran into him? I know that you guys have hung out multiple times with Steve. And tell us a little bit about that relationship, how he has helped you. Because I think, Steve is a really great guy. I watch a lot of his videos. And, I think he does really fantastic at reselling. And he's got a great inner circle. And I think that's one big thing with Steve. So I guess go over that a little bit. How has Steve helped you guys?
So what happened was we started out going to a Connecticut meetup, a thrifting meetup, and Steve was running it, and that's where we met him. And it just really snowballed into a friendship. And
I was watching his videos long before even knowing about this meetup, and they had a Connecticut meetup that we couldn't go. We were out of state. And this was long before he was still working, a full-time job. And then there was another one, and he had just gone full time with me. And I was like, we have to go. It's Steve Reagan. And I just walked right up to him. I'm like, hello. Oh, you see me. And I'm happy-go-lucky.
So what happened is we went to the meetup, and a couple weeks later, he comes out with a course called Men's Clothing Mastery. It was a eBay course on how to work eBay and sell men's clothing on eBay. And it was a great course. And it was right around that time where we were starting to think, wow, we really want to do a course for Poshmark too. So we got in touch with Steve, and he agreed to be our coach. And the friendship just evolved from there. And now we hang out with him once, twice, or 3 times a month. We're going to Austin with him to the Green Room event. Yeah. We're speaking at the Green Room event. That he owns the Green Room. It's him and the Bonafide Hustler who run the Green Room. And it's a reselling community on Facebook that's a paid membership. And we're going down there to speak at his conference. And we've really just grown a great friendship with him over the past couple months.
Yeah, really. You're not really expecting that when you get into a business partnership with someone. But Steve is very genuine.
Yeah, he is.
And it's hard to find somebody just genuine like that. And like, I've always been, I think, a very good judge of character. Like, I have cut like all of the cancerous people out of my life. I'm that kind of person. And like, he's our friend. Like, I can talk to him, non-business related. I can just shoot the stuff with him and send him a text, send him like anything, and he'll talk back. And it's not like, it doesn't have to be business.
Nope.
You know, and it's awesome. I'm so happy to have met.
I saw one video, guys. Correct me if I'm wrong, but is he a good barbecue, or was that you, Jay, that was barbecuing?
The live video? Barbecue?
That was at Steve's house.
Yes.
That was at Steve's house. He was barbecuing on his new smoker, so.
It was lightly raining, so he had it like pretty much halfway in the garage over like a tiny overhang, but his vet was like behind us, so he didn't want to bring it all the way in. And he's like, but it's raining, but we're hungry.
That is awesome.
Like, here, take my phone and like record us. And I was like, I got this.
So that was him, but I can cook on the grill too. So not that
good. Yeah. I had to clear that up, Jay. I wasn't sure who was the cook in that. Real quick, non-reseller related, and I'm curious though, who is the household cook there now with you guys? Like, who out of both of you guys, do you guys kind of share duties, or how does that work?
We share it right now, but when it needs to be an in-depth meal, something good like salmon or chicken or steak or something like that, I'll do all the cooking. I'll put the meals together. I'm a good from scratch cook, and she's a good she's a good baker. She's a really good baker, but she struggles with throwing something together just out of the blue. So.
Yeah, he can look at look at the cupboard and the fridge and be like, oh, I have this, and that. Let me make this. And I'm like, really? You get that from all that? But every night we switch on and off, but it's just basic, like our normal, like every weekly food that I've grown to know how to cook. It's nothing special that I've
we'll eat quick stuff during the week, and then once in a while I'll cook a big dinner. So.
That's interesting. I first of all, I'm a crock pot guy, so I'm more on her side. I love the
crock pot.
We also have an air fryer now.
Oh, an air fryer too. Yeah.
I have. Are you talking the new? Is it New A, or how does he say that?
The New Wave.
Yes. Is it something like that?
That's a brand that has them. Yeah.
Yeah.
It replaces frying. And I didn't.
It's a healthy fried food.
I thought it was a gimmick. I'm like, I don't believe that they can fry food without deep frying it in oil. Like, this doesn't happen, but it somehow fries the food. You can cook a frozen chicken, like to cooked in this air fryer. Like, drop it in, bam, frozen. It's amazing. Like, we use it all the time, and it's so much healthier. He cooks bacon in it, and like most of the bacon grease is on the bottom, like not on the, and it still tastes delicious. Like, I love that thing.
So I kind of want, so we do have how many sales do you get per day on Poshmark, with both your guys' closets?
Oh, so it really depends on like the day and my number of listing and my activity. I average about like 8 to 10 a day during the week. During the weekends.
You can hit as high as 20, 15 to 20. So,
but I have a lot of repeat buyers, and I sell a lot of bundles. And I know it's kind of similar on eBay to like the shopping cart, when people like can add multiple things to the cart and check out. A lot of people bundle with me. So a lot of times when I'll post pictures on Instagram and I'm like, here's 8 boxes. Yeah, but 4 of those are bundles worth like way more money. It's not the amount of boxes.
It's the money,
it's
right?
The money each one.
It's not the quantity, it's the quality.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, and we try not to sell something that's going to bring us less than $30 profit. Yeah. And we're pretty good with that. We'll go out with a lot of designer jeans. We'll come back with a lot of designer jeans and designer shirts. And most of the time we're getting between $30 and $60 to $70 in that range of profit. So that's our rule of thumb. So if we're getting quality over quantity, but we're still getting a good quantity. So
I do have some lower price items in my closet, but it's bundling, more to inspire people to bundle. Someone wanting to buy that $60 pair of like jeans, and then they're like, oh, but it's $6.90, like $6.49 shipping. Like, that's really going to change your $60 jeans. And they're like, oh, look at this little like $15 tank top, and she has a bundle discount. Next thing I know, I'm packing up 2 things.
Now, we're going to talk about the course, but I am dying. We've got, we're borderline 90 people now watching, and So give us a few nuggets. Give us like 5 things that you think that aren't ordinary that people can do on their Poshmark closets to bring them to that next level.
Okay, so consistency and cohesiveness with how your closet looks. It's kind of like branding. You don't necessarily have to like put flamingos in everything. You don't need to do that. Like that's what I do. Well, yeah. But just the way you take photos and making it all look the same, that when someone sees your photo in another feed, whether it be in a party showroom or their active feed, they're going to know it's yours without having to look at that little seller bubble with the name attached to it. They're going to go, oh, that's Jay's new shirt, or, Posh Penguin's new shirt. Cool. Because it looks like it's been your photo, just be consistent. I see so much inconsistencies in closets. And I get that there's an experimental stage where people don't know if they want to use a hanger or a mannequin or a flat lay or whatever it is.
Just find something that works and use it consistently. Another great tip to be successful on Poshmark is to make sure you're doing all 3 of these in succession throughout the day. Listing, following, and sharing. If you're listing enough, you should be try to target about 5 items a day. That's a good rule of thumb. If you can do more, great. Mm-hmm. Make sure you're following enough people. So follow other people and they're going to follow you back because it's going to grow your followers. And the more followers you get, the more closer you're going to be to daily sales. I'm getting right around 30,000 followers and I'm starting to get daily sales now. So it takes some time to build momentum on Poshmark, but once you hit that certain threshold, you're going to get daily sales. So definitely follow and share because that's going to get you followers back and it's going to get people coming to your closet and fresh eyes on your product all the time.
Nice. So Wade, new here. Chris brought me here. Chris is an amazing guy. He's what got me on social media. So I appreciate you joining. So we have a question. How many times per day do you share your closet? Are you sitting in bed like I am sometimes at midnight sharing your closet?
People think that. I really think that I'm sitting there with like a stylist going, share. I'm not. I'm really not.
We share 4 times a day, really. It's we do once in the morning.
Yep, with our coffee.
Half
awake,
Once around 3 o'clock when they have that. And we're on the East Coast, so it'd be 12 o'clock for you. For the 12 o'clock party or the 3 o'clock party. So we do the 3 o'clock party on the East Coast. Then we'll share at the 7 o'clock party and we'll share during the big party at 10 o'clock. If we can't do that all the time, we'll try to at least share at 7 and 10 o'clock, those afternoon and evening parties, because that's when the most people are going to be on the app. So that's pretty much what we do, though.
It takes me 25 minutes. Like when I'm kind of going slow with it.
Yeah.
When I'm kind of like, oh, what's on TV? Oh, the cat just jumped on my lap. But when I'm like really like, okay, I got to share my closet really quick and I'm like focused, I could do it in like 15 minutes,
Yeah,
so
I'm around the same rate too.
A day to make what we make. It's a no-brainer.
And we do most of our networking, our following and sharing during the PM party.
You have the most active users on at that point. Now, I'm not saying there's no active users on during the rest of the day, but we're maximizing the amount of active users because no matter what time zone you're in, it's your home. You're home, and it's if you're on Poshmark, you're on Poshmark. So it increases your chances.
All in all, with the app, we're probably putting in just sharing and following and all that. We're probably putting in about the equivalent of 3 to 5 hours a day, depending on how often and how much we do it. So it's really not a huge time commitment. It's very simple.
And a lot of times it's not like so concentrating. Like we put on Netflix.
Yeah, TV.
And sometimes we'll watch a scene with like the iPad open and we're like, oh yeah, get back to that a little bit more. It's like a lot of it's just like you're not thinking about it when you're sharing other people's items or you're sharing from a closet, like a party, and you're just sharing the Posh love by sharing someone else's items. It's not like you can do other things at the same time, so it doesn't feel like working. We get through a whole Netflix series doing Poshmark. So
now I know a couple tips on Poshmark sharing, but you guys may echo it or maybe you have something different. So what I used to do, or what I do, is I share on the desktop and I'll zoom out my web browser so I can see a ton of them. And then I'll click share. Yep. Or I think it was Lisa. She said that what she does is she doesn't on her phone. She doesn't open the Poshmark app. She actually logs in on Poshmark on the phone on a web browser to zoom it out to do faster sharing. How do you guys share?
I have shared on the computer multiple times. The problem, and it's the easiest solution. We don't have an actual physical mouse. We have the trackpad. So it's touchier, and it's like more of a pain in the booty than if I wish I had a click, which is such an easy fix. I just never think, why don't I order a mouse? Like I'm going to forget it after I say this too. Next time I'm on Amazon, I'm going to forget that I need a mouse. But that's the only reason why I don't use the computer as often is because of the trackpad and not having a physical mouse.
Yeah, we're complete iOS in this house. Yes. We have a MacBook Pro, we have 2 iPads, 2 iPhones, so we're all Apple products. And I think she shares from her iPad most of the time, and we just use the app. We just go into the iPad, turn it landscape. We got about 12 listings right in front of us. We go bam, 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 up 3 rows, and then scroll it down and do it again.
Yeah,
I do mine from the phone, and I prefer holding the phone because the iPad's a little bit of a pain in the butt to hold sometimes.
I like it.
So I hold the phone, and I just share my closet from the phone on the app, and the app works out great for us. So.
Yeah, awesome. It's a combination of edit next list and the actual share button.
Edit next list is important to do, though. You want to definitely edit next list some of your items because it's gonna get them fresh into the search into the search. So you're gonna see that item first. It's gonna be like you're listing an item. So.
It kind of tricks the algorithm to think that you just listed that, and new listings get like if someone searches J. Crew skinny jeans or something, you just listed some, you're going to be the first thing they see. But if those jeans were listed for like 6 months and no one's really bought them, but you edit next list, it's now boosted up because you tricked it to thinking that you just listed it by edit next and last word is list.
So that's a good little Poshmark hack right there when you're sharing.
Edit next list.
That is crushing it right there. That is an amazing tip. I actually didn't know that, by the way. I didn't know that.
That's easier to do on a tablet or a phone than the computer. You can still obviously do them on a computer. There's more clicking and you have to like kind of move it around to do the 2 clicks.
And it's part of the 30-minute method. And if you guys are Poshmarking part-time, the 30-minute method is something you definitely want to look into because it gives you enough activity to gain a steady following and to start listing and sharing and all that stuff. So look into the 30-minute method and it'll help you tremendously. We do have a video on it on our channel. Yeah.
Yeah, it gives you enough activity on different aspects of the app within that 30 minutes. I was doing that when I was working. And I do a 30-minute method before I went to work. Went to work for somebody else, made them money, and then got home and kind of did the PM party. But that 30-minute method helped me build my business while I was still working.
So first and foremost, I need to do that 30-minute method. How many items do you guys have currently on Poshmark?
I believe I'm at 320, which isn't a lot, but this was a struggle. And this has been my hardest thing, and people think it's crazy. The more I list, the more I sell. I don't know if it's because I've been around since 2013.
Yeah, her sell-through rate is incredible.
And it's nothing to complain about. I have been striving for 500 active listings, and we source, we photograph, we list, but we also ship like crazy too. I can list like 20 things and it will spark 13 sales. So I'm only up 7. Thank you very much. Or something very similar to that. I used to have this, when I was growing, I used to say, okay, sell 1, list 2. For every 1 sold, you're going to list 2 to replace the one that sold and be up 1. And that was helping me grow while I was working. And I can't keep up with that. I cannot keep up with that right now. The sell 1, list 2, you got me this far. Thank you so much, but I can't do sell 1, list 2.
And my closet's a little smaller right now. My goal for the end of the summer is to be at about 250 listings active. I'm hovering right around 100 active listings right now. So I'm growing my closet and have been steadily growing it since January. And we're working on that. We're getting to the point where I have a little bit of a dead pile that I'm getting through right now. We've been so busy with other stuff that Poshmark got pushed to the side a little bit. So yeah.
There were a few photographs. I'm like, you can't post those. You cannot post those. Yeah, there was like a week of me trying to train him on like, okay, let's think about how you want, like what's easiest for you. And that was like a lot of my time spending with him, trying to help him, think about like folding. Cause we do flat lays for the most part.
Yeah. All flat lays.
And like him folding clothes. Hey, I'm the one that does the laundry in the house, you know? So there was a lot of downtime of him not listing whatsoever, where it was just like him practicing and kind of perfecting what he was doing. And then one day, I think it was almost like a light bulb went off and he's like, I got it.
Yeah.
And like, he's getting better every single photo, but like, yeah, you've come a long way.
Yeah.
You've come a long way.
So that's our goals right now. Our goal is to get her closet to 500 by the end of the summer and mine to 250.
Yeah. It's like running up an escalator.
I can imagine.
Because our ultimate goal is to be at about 1,000 listings by tax time for her.
That is awesome.
We're working on it. I'm running up that escalator.
We have, so what happens if you change your username? You can change your username on Poshmark, right?
One time.
You can't do it within the app. It's not like most other apps where it's like, oh, hey, you can change your username. Just type in this little field right here, like Twitter or something like that. Like, you can't do that. You actually have to email Poshmark support. And they suggest that you give them 3 possible names. So you should do your research, make sure it's not already an active user. But then once you change your name, you are stuck with it. Because what happens a lot of times when people get the Poshmark app is, it automatically asks you, hey, make a closet name or make a username. And people go into their like fallback of like old screen names or online handles. And they're not thinking like, what does this say about my business? It's like Pug Life 422. And it's like, yeah, that person likes pugs. I like pugs too, but you're not thinking about what that means for selling.
Yeah.
And so a lot of sellers go through this. They go through like, oh, I should have really thought out my closet name a little bit more. So you get one do-over, make it count.
So guys, I want to know really quick. I know that we did a poll if you're on Poshmark and if you're not on Poshmark. But those of you who are not on Poshmark, like in a quick sentence, put why you have not started Poshmark yet. I'm really curious to see if there's some maybe hurdles that they can give you to overcome, like actually trying out Poshmark. Because I know it's a little bit different than eBay, and people, they get stuck on eBay just because they get used to it, they know it. But I can tell you that I can list on Poshmark way quicker than I can eBay. So I'm really curious to see if you guys have hurdles, and put them in chat. I'll
tell you one thing, Wade. If you're selling clothes on eBay, then you definitely want to consider getting over to Poshmark. You can cross post, and the profit margin is so much better on Poshmark than it is on eBay. We're looking at comps on Poshmark at about 20 to 30% higher profit than you can get for that same item on eBay. So it's really beneficial to jump from eBay to Poshmark, but keep eBay open and just cross post. And if it sells on Poshmark, take it off eBay. If it sells on eBay, take it off Poshmark.
It's really a sale is a sale, and it's so simple to cross post. You can use Poshmark.com and literally like copy and paste your description and have 2 tabs open and just tab back and forth.
So we have one social sharing. Sounds like it takes a lot of time. Now, can you go over that? Like, do you have to share your closet or share other people's closet to get sales on Poshmark?
You don't need to share to get a sale. People can actively, it's just like on eBay, people have to actively search whatever item that they're looking for in the search bar for you to be brought up. The same concept happens in Poshmark. People can actively search out whatever it is, and if you have it, it's going to pop up in the search results, and you can possibly get a sale. However, with the social aspect of it, of sharing and with your users and your followers into parties, it maximizes the exposure of all your items. Your item gets in front of people's eyes who haven't actively searched it. And if you know a lot of people that window shopping, why do you think malls are so popular? And people walk down the mall and they go, ooh, what's on that mannequin? To actually know what you're going to be typing into that search bar is very specific. Sometimes we want something, but we're not exactly sure what. And it really gets your item in front of people that might not even know they want it. And how is that a bad thing? But you don't have to actively share.
No, and it really, again, it doesn't take too much time. You can share for a half hour and be done with it. Share other people's stuff and share your own stuff and just put a half hour into it. And that's going to give you more than enough activity to start generating your own sales. And that's the best part about it. You can really create your own sales on Poshmark. There's features like the private offer to likers, where if somebody likes your item, you can send them out a private offer and it'll go to everybody who's liked your item and they'll have a chance to buy it. There's stuff like closet clear outs where they have reduced shipping. There's so many opportunities to create your own sale on Poshmark.
I love
as opposed to eBay, where you have to pay for promoted listings. You have to pay for insertion fees. You have to pay for all this to really create a sale on eBay unless you have a store. And it gets tedious on eBay. And eBay is so like, I think it's a lot easier to make go full-time as a reseller if you're working Poshmark as opposed to eBay. First of all, eBay, the clothing is saturated. It's oversaturated marketplace. There's so much clothing on there that the prices have been dropping like crazy. And at Poshmark, you can really create your own sales. So it's a lot easier to move into a full-time reseller position if that's your goal, if you're using Poshmark hand in hand with eBay.
You can't just say, hey, I'm gonna like quit my job and go full-time if you only have all your eggs in one basket. Like how like that, what if that basket breaks and your eggs fall out?
And I know it's not everyone's goal to go full time, but
no, it's not. But like everyone's goal is financial freedom. I should hope, yeah. You know, or some form of it, whether it's paying down your carb bill or your credit cards, you know. So if you're already a seller, even if you're a seller on another site and it's not even eBay, like spread your wings a bit. Like you can put that same listing like all over, and when it sells, that's money in your pocket. But if it's not selling on one site and you only have it on one site,
there's nowhere you can go.
Yeah, there's nowhere you could go with it. So cross listing is really important. That's why we do it.
Yep.
And you know, we're venturing into more apps too. So yeah, it helps. Like a sale is a sale, but I am Poshmark loyal.
Thrifty Santa said, do you use certain size labels for shipping on Poshmark? I know they switched recently.
Yeah, go ahead, Karen.
So there's two. They email you the label the moment the person buys it. The seller is never responsible to purchase a label. And it's a PDF format that can be printed out in any printer. However, they just upgraded the app to be able to select a 4x6 label for label printers of all different label brands. Yeah, we have a Rollo. We have a Rollo. And I know a lot of people use like Dynamo XLs and stuff like that, or just any of the label printers, 4x6 option. So your email has a 4x6 option. They turn with the times. They know they were listening to us. We were asking for it, and they receive.
I knew I liked you guys a lot because you use a Rollo printer, and I will live and die by that printer.
Yes, it's a great printer, isn't it?
It is amazing.
And I mean, we were paying like $100 for ink every 2 weeks, and now we're paying like $15 for 1,500 sheets, and that lasts us like a month or two. So the cost is just so it's incredible. We won't go back.
We'll never go back to paying for ink. Like I would get mad when all of a sudden I was like boop 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 low on like magenta, and I'm like, well, what? That's a black and white one. Like just print the thing. Like
I would echo that. I hate that sound, you know, and it happens all the time. So, okay, I've got a few questions here. First, my first question is how has social media changed reselling? How has social media for you changed your guys' life and how you resell?
So one of the things that like I really miss about my old job is I was an educator. Like I was a teacher. I love teaching people things. So learning and part of teaching is also learning. You need to learn in order to educate. I'm constantly reading. I'm constantly listening, watching YouTube, listening to blogs. I just absorb stuff, but I also like to teach stuff. So social media is my outlet.
Yeah.
Because that's the one thing that I completely miss about my old job. I'm never going back. But I miss that. I miss teaching people. So it really gives me like a whole outlet to like learn and suck in the information and also help put the information out there at the same time. Like nice little circle going on.
Yeah, without social media, we wouldn't have been able to accomplish half of the things that we've accomplished in this past year. So social media has played a huge role in our reselling life and our personal life and just every aspect of our life in general. It really, social media has been there and it's been good to us. So
now I by the way, guys, like I can't echo this enough. Like the fact that like, I feel like when I watch you guys' shows, you guys have that continuity. Like you guys, it's really fun to watch you guys because you're passionate. You can tell if people are passionate on, you know, what they do in regards to reselling. You can tell the resellers that do it just because, you know, that's what they know, and you can tell the passionate ones. And I really like your guys' YouTube channel. And this kind of ties in a little bit. I want to know kind of, do you have like a couple of YouTubers that you enjoy watching regarding Poshmark, eBay? Like, give us a few. And the reason I ask this is there's people, almost 100 people watching. They may not have heard some of these people that you guys enjoy watching.
Who are some of the you guys all know the big ones like the Rockstar Flipper and Rally Roots and Rake and Profit, but who are some of the smaller ones that we watch? I know there's a few
those ones like he just mentioned was what
that's what we learned to cut our teeth on.
What I couldn't figure out when I was selling my own clothes. And then I was like, okay, I can keep doing this and making money, but I was running out of my own clothes to sell. I had to figure out, where are people getting all these clothes? Like, I don't have this many clothes. And if I start selling them, well, I have no clothes on my body, and that's not a good thing, you know? And so I started like searching, and then I remember I started, I was like watching Steve in the beginning. I was watching like Steve Reagan. I was watching like a lot like Rockstar Flipper, and just like kind of like absoring and listening and taking in information.
Your channel has helped us a lot. I know that everyone else who's here watches your channel, but when we first found, I didn't know about you until you got in contact with us and wanted to collaborate with us. And when I found your channel, I started watching your interviews, and I just loved how you had all these different smaller time people, bigger time people on, and you're interviewing them, and there's a lot of great information that you're passing on. So your channel has helped us tremendously. And I love watching your interviews. So
I appreciate that. And the cool thing is, guys, is the fact that I can bring it's social media for me is done many things for me. But I mean, think about this. Like, you know, a lot of people wanted you guys on here because they want to know about Poshmark, right? And so, you know, unbeknownst, I messaged you guys. You guys are more than happy to come on, and now you're on our live show. It's really cool, the fact that we can network, you know, from the West Coast to the East Coast via social media. And I really appreciate you guys, because I'm, you know, dabbling in new platforms. I love to learn new platforms, and I got to be honest, like, I am such a newbie with Poshmark, and I would recommend everybody go to their channel. If you have any questions about Poshmark, it seems like you guys have pretty much, you know, step, you know, 0 to, you know, step 10 or 20 or 100 in regards to Poshmark. Can you give us, Jay, can you talk a little bit about your guys' course that you put out? And and guys, and before we get into this, you all know that I'm a big fan of trying to get the information you possibly can, but I really believe that when you want to learn something, you got to buddy up to somebody that knows it really well, and they know Poshmark really well. So, Jay, can you tell me a little bit about kind of what you guys have in there?
So our course is called Poshing for Profits. It's a comprehensive course, a step-by-step guide from starting and downloading the app, Poshmark app, all the way through to listing, photography, sourcing, boutiques, shipping. What you can and can't sell on Poshmark, shipping, inventory systems. We cover the nuts and bolts of Poshmark from start to finish, and how to earn a full-time living, working part-time hours on Poshmark. So we cover that, and it's our playbook basically. It's what we've been doing for the past couple of years that's helped us to go full-time and to transition into this full-time business. And we put a lot into it. They are on-demand videos. There's over 35 videos. There's bonus material. We have a private Facebook group that we are moderators of, and that we constantly comment in and answer your questions. And
people love the
Facebook group. Yeah.
Oh my goodness, we get so much positive feedback on the Facebook group. Like, and it's not just us. We have a few other seasoned Poshmark users that we know in real life, that went to Posh Fest with, that we've made active members of the group as well, because we're only 2 people. You know, but yeah, there's like so much information and just going back and forth, and a lot of people are in different stages of their Poshmark business. Some of them have had it for a while, some of them have had it and haven't used it, or just downloaded the app, you know. So it really is like a whole community, and we're always there to help.
It's just, we put a lot into this course, and we've gotten a lot of great response. We've gotten great responses from it, from what we sold. We sold about, we got about 230 250 to 280 active users, I think, right now in the course.
Students,
students
again.
It's
so nice. I have students. It's teaching.
I can't preach this enough, but I think access is really important when you're getting started. When I first got started, I had Chris, Daily Refinement, 10K on the Bay. He mentored me for a while. And so I think it's really important to have kind of like that, that person that you can go to and have contact with. And I think that's what your Facebook group's kind of all about, right? If they have questions.
That's exactly what it's all about. Yeah.
It definitely is, and sometimes I feel bad because like everyone's on different coasts and all over the United States. And sometimes I'll be in bed and I wake up and someone had posted like something and tagged me at but I was in bed and I'll feel bad like getting to it like 7 hours later. And I'm like, I want to say, I'm so sorry, but here's the information. So I'm learning not to apologize for me living on the East Coast. But it is like other users, other members will like start answering, give their, like few cents, or this happened to me and this is how I fixed it. Poshmark's photos are in square mode, kind of like Instagram. And so people that take with a DSLR are like, okay, what do you recommend? Like, how do I get this in square mode? So there's like 2 huge threads like constantly going, people giving their tips. And I tried this out. This really worked. And, showing photos of what they've edited. It really is helping people grow, and everyone's growing together. It's great.
Now, guys, we'll put a link in. And first of all, if you guys are watching this after the fact, I'm going to put a link of their YouTube channel below in the description and in the comments. And then also we'll put their link to their course, guys. Again, for me, when I first started selling, those of you who know, I got started on storage units, and then I got selling a little bit of clothes, thrifting. And I would lie to say I didn't pick up a few Faded Glory back in my day. So it's nice to have that somebody that can help you. And quite honestly, 260 people is a lot of people, but it really is still a small group, a tight-knit group, right? So I think that's amazing. And not only that, but I'll try to convince the flock here to put a few, possibly a few mixed drinks, in there that people can make. But so tell me real quick, what is in store for 2018 for your YouTube channel? What can people expect for the remainder of the year?
We want to have a lot more of this going on. We are leaving. We're going to 2 different states. We have a lot really packed in the next month. But I said this summer we're doing a lot of collaborations. This was our next move for YouTube. We really like going live. It's first of all, it's easier. I love interaction with people. I love when people ask me questions and I get to answer them. But when I'm just shooting a video, that's cool too. But then you have to edit it and do thumbnails. And it's just like, oh, upload it. So, there it's uploaded. Woo, So I really want to get a lot more one-on-one with somebody else and doing exactly what we're doing. That's our goal for the summertime, is have a lot more one-on-ones like this.
Yeah, so keep an eye out on that, and we're definitely going to keep our live schedule. We might add a 3rd live day on our YouTube channel. Right now we're currently going live on Mondays and Fridays at around 8 o'clock. We're thinking about adding a live show on Wednesday as well, so that we have 3 live shows throughout the week. And we're going to stick to that schedule, at least the Monday and Friday for definite. And we'll sprinkle in some new video content in between those live shows, whether it be 1 or 2 videos a week that are short little informative videos on how to do something or how to whatever,
We're also doing during the summer, we have a few events that we're speaking at and meetups that we're have planned. So we're going to try a little bit of vlogging.
Oh, we're going to vlog. Yeah. We just got a new
camera. Because right now we record either on our computer or on the phone, which was really sufficient for the kind of content we are putting out. But when you're out and about, we had to actually get a camera. I can't be hey, and drop my phone. Plus, then there's quality issues when you're out, not just stable.
Yeah, we picked up a Canon G7X, so
he's excited.
Yes, I have that same one.
What'd you say?
I have that same one.
Actually. Oh, it's a great camera, isn't it? I got to use Steve Reagan's for a little bit, and I just fell in love with that camera. So
yes, it is a solid camera, guys. If you're looking at getting something like that, you don't have to buy something as expensive. But honestly, like I'm a firm believer in you can only do what you can do and what you can afford. But I like to buy like what will work for me for years to come, as opposed to buying. Because I made that mistake, guys. I bought when I first started reselling, I bought 2 cheap lighting kits, and then I finally got the Savage kit, which is the LED, and I love it. But you know, if I just bought like the better one at first, I would have saved so much money and time. So that's kind of my take on that. But
that's true. That's how it works. Yeah.
If you're going to be using it, like, why are you dipping yourself?
Yep. So tell me a little bit real quick before we wrap up here. Tell me what these Posh parties, not in the app, but like, or not, is it Posh? No, it's not Posh party.
Posh and Sips are you talking about?
Well, all I saw was the CEO of Poshmark and then him with a bunch of girls.
Oh, so yeah. Okay. All you had to say was with a bunch of girls.
Now I know why you joined, buddy. I know. You were worried about her, but
what are you doing on that app, babe? What are you doing on your phone?
Yeah. Who are you? What closet are you sharing?
So since they're very social, like Poshmark's very social app, they do live Posh parties. They usually focus them around larger cities for obvious reasons. There was one in Boston. There was one in New York. Though I think the latest one was in Texas.
And Austin.
And they will say, hey, you know, come this place this time. Register. I think they do Eventbrite type stuff. And bring your phone, bring your tablet. We will all just share and network. And it's kind of like when you're at home sharing your items to the virtual parties. You're actually at a physical party, but you're also sharing to the virtual party. So I haven't been to one. The one in Boston happened a couple months ago, and we couldn't make it. We had pre-plans already.
Yeah.
And I was kind of sad about that because I wanted to see why Manish was like surrounded by all these girls. I wanted to be one of the girls.
So there's the medium-sized parties like those. There's the huge party like Posh Fest, which we're both going to in Dallas.
Yeah.
And then there's the smaller local parties, which you guys should all, if you're on Poshmark, look out for. They're called Posh and Sips. Mm-hmm. They happen at restaurants. We're actually having one at our house on June 2nd. And we're having about 20 people over to talk about Poshmark, to network, to get to know each other, and to just have a good time. And you can find Posh and Sips all over the place. So those are really, all those events are great events that are going to get you right into the Poshmark community and get you networking and get you sharing and learning all the ins and outs about Poshmark.
Yeah, our Posh and Sip got rained out.
Yeah, we were going to have it last weekend.
There's 3 types of Posh and Sips. You can have like 1 or 2 people at your house and people that don't know Poshmark and kind of help them download the app, help them make a listing, you know, kind of walk them through like the very, very beginning of it, and sit around, drink some wine, take some photos of shoes, you know, that type of thing. It's kind of more intimate. One of them is, you know, actually kind of like getting together and going sourcing at outlets or whatever, kind of like a live thrifting place or wherever you source. And then another form of a Posh and Sip is what the most common one. It's pretty much just a get together.
Yeah.
Like a reseller get together, but for Poshmark.
So that being said, guys, my head, I've already learned a few things from this video, and you guys think I was joking. If you look at my Instagram, I had a question about I got like I got some sort of item like nominated.
You got a host pay.
Yeah, exactly. And I was like, what is this thing? And then all of a sudden, a few seconds later, I see her. She's like, really quick, told me what it was. I was really waiting for Jay to see if he knew. I was really testing him, but
she does the Instagram in this house though. So
yeah. Oh, honestly, like you guys have no idea. 8 months ago, Ashley, my beautiful wife, was she would actually do my Instagram for me. So I would send her a picture and she would put all the hashtags. I had no idea how to do it.
I am Instagram illiterate, to tell you the truth. Karen does all the Instagramming, and she does a hell of a job with it. I know Facebook, I know YouTube, but Instagram is like foreign language to me. So
I have 3.
Oh yeah,
accounts.
She has 3. Yeah.
Oh my gosh! Real quick, is your Instagram handle the same as your YouTube?
Yes and no. It is Thrifty Flamingo. It's just no the. It's not the Thrifty Flamingo. It was too long for Instagram. So I had to minus the. So it's just Thrifty Flamingo.
So I've got 2 last questions for you guys. One, actually 3, but 2 will be really quick. If you can tell you guys yourself one thing back when you were starting Poshmark, what would it be?
Take it seriously. Take it as a business. Don't look at it as a hobby. Look at it as a business from the beginning and grow it into a business and nurture it like it's a business, because that's what it is. It's a business. It's not a hobby. You can do it as a hobby, but it's definitely something that has the potential to be a business.
I think about that sometimes. I think about 2013, like getting in on the ground floor, like elevator down here. Yeah. Like in the beginning of Poshmark, like if I had just done what I've done in the past, like little over a year, then like, whoa.
Yeah, where would we be now, right?
We would blows my mind.
We would be billionaires by now if we did this back then. So I don't know if we'd be billionaires, but we'd be a lot further ahead. So take it as a business from right out of the gate.
Treat people accordingly too. You know, it is a social media app, and I see so many people getting very like they talk to people like not business like, you know, not professional like, but you're still running a business. You know, you don't have to talk like it's your best friend on Facebook. Like you don't have to call people hun and you know, like treat it like you're making money, because that's exactly what's going on. Just because it's a social media app doesn't mean you have to dumb it down by the way you speak and like converse with people.
Now, also along those lines, my second question to you guys is what would you tell somebody that is on the fence of starting Poshmark? You know, and I know that we kind of went over this a little bit, but what if they were on the fence of starting Poshmark? Because I'll tell you, the only reason I started was because Chris started, and I knew right then and there I had to start. I can't let him start something and me not start something. So, what would you tell people that are on the fence with starting with a new platform like that?
I'm going to tell you, you have absolutely nothing to lose. Poshmark doesn't charge you a dang thing until you sell something. You don't have no insertion fees. You have no store fees. You can list one item. You can list 1,000 items. It costs you absolutely nothing to get your items in front of so many people. So what have you got to lose? The only time Poshmark charges you, you know, they take their cut is when your item sells. So you have absolutely nothing to lose. You know, you can list a handful of items, and if you just don't like it, you don't like it, but you don't have anything to lose.
If you are considering selling clothes or you're selling clothes now, why sell clothes on a platform that sells everything when you can go to a platform that is specifically designed for clothing and accessories? People who go to Poshmark want to buy clothes. They're looking for clothes. That's what's sold on Poshmark. So if you are selling clothes on eBay and you're considering getting over to Poshmark, just do it, because that's where the money is. That's where you're going to make the most money from your clothing. And it's just a no-brainer.
That's why you see larger channels going towards Poshmark. You just interviewed Rockstar Flipper, right? Yeah, that's right. I watched that.
Yes.
Everyone's going over, you know, no matter, I don't know how in depth everyone's getting into it. You know, obviously we're in pretty deep. But, you know, even big sellers that don't really need extra income coming in from another source. They probably have multiple other sources. They probably don't even need Poshmark, but they're still doing it. You have to ask yourself why, and why am I not doing it?
I could not say that better myself. Man, you guys have done this before. All right. So my last question, guys, is unrelated to Poshmark, unrelated to, you know, kind of unrelated to reselling. But I ask this question every single time because, as you guys know, I'm a big fan of people starting YouTube channels up, whether it's informative or whether they just want to document their journey or they want to even make it private and just make videos so they can go back and watch it. What advice can you give? Dig back when you guys first started your YouTube channel. What advice would you give somebody that's shy, timid, or just, you know, is still on the fence with starting a YouTube channel? What advice would you give?
You don't know until you try. You know, even shy and timid people, like, get in front of a camera, start doing what you do. You can make them private, you know, and then the more you do it, the better you're going to become at it, or even just the ins and outs of it, editing, even if you don't edit, just getting comfortable in front of a camera. Because sometimes it's difficult. It's not natural to be staring at a camera lens going, or whatever you're doing, you know, and some people get kind of robotic, or they get more withdrawn and they are not themselves. So, you know, just keep doing it. It doesn't mean you actually have to make them public, but at least put them on YouTube and make them private, and then get better at it and learn and watch your own videos. YouTube
is a great way to break out of that shyness, to get rid of that, to break out of your shy shell and kind of come into your own. Because the way I think about it is, when you first started on YouTube, you're not going to go live right away. So you're not talking to a live audience. You're talking to your camera. You're the only person in the room. You're camera one-on-one, and then you post the video and you get views. So it's a great way to practice getting out of that comfort zone and getting out of your shell without having to worry about people commenting live and all that. So it's a great thing to do if you're in that kind of boat where you're shy or you're timid or something like that.
So you guys have I'm gonna message Steve Reagan after this, and I'm gonna tell him to watch this show, and I'm gonna tell him that you guys said he was a good barbecuer. And I'll let him know. We do have one last question. I want to be respectful of your time, but this is a big topic. Question: do you guys have a tip for keeping track of cross-listed items when it sells, both on eBay and Poshmark?
Yeah, so his all men's stuff like automatically gets cross-posted. It's in our listing number. We like what goes into our inventory number. I was fumbling for words for a second. The beginning letter is going to tell us if it's cross-listed. So the moment it sells on either platform, we know we have to go on the opposite platform and delete.
We just keep track we just keep track of our push messages, and most of the time Poshmark is winning. It's going to sell on Poshmark first, so we just pull it off of eBay. It's very easy to do. We just keep an eye on our phone, and you know, we haven't had one where they sell it on both platforms at once, and we'd have to cancel a sale.
We stay on it.
We stay on top of it.
Because I don't want to be that person saying like, I'm sorry, I had to cancel a sale because I messed up.
I would say though, in all honesty, if we did come across that and we did come into that boat and something sold on both platforms, we would probably cancel the sale on Poshmark, even though it's our breadwinner, because eBay, you'll get that negative feedback. You'll get the negative results. So we don't want to get that negative mark. So if you are cross-posting and it sells on both platforms, Poshmark isn't going to give you a negative hit for canceling an order. So all you have to do is cancel on Poshmark. You're good to go.
And great interview, guys. Wish we had Poshmark here in Australia. I know nothing about this. I can tell you one thing and correct me if I'm wrong, Poshmark is a publicly traded company, right? Part of it? Do you guys know?
That's a good question. I'm not 100% on that.
No,
I think it is though, but I know it's only in the United States right now, but I'm sure that they're gonna. I have no doubt in my mind that they're gonna roll it out worldwide eventually. So it's gonna come. They're making big moves, so it's gonna come eventually to the world.
Yep, I'm pretty positive they're publicly traded. I could be wrong.
I to find out.
and that being said, hold on, guys. Did I just tell the Poshmark Pro something they had no idea about?
Did.
I don't know. This is live, right? What point of the video is this? But to your question, I think I did a lot of stock trading. I still do, and anytime they're public like that, they're gonna want to branch out worldwide. So I wouldn't be surprised if they go there soon. Both awesome show, guys. Appreciate it. I just want to tell you guys again, I really appreciate what you guys do, because I know when I first started out on eBay, I was kind of left in the dark, and then I would discover one person, another person. I'd piece it all together. And I really like the fact that you guys know Poshmark inside and out. You put it together easily for us newbies to watch and learn. And as you guys know, I'm expecting my second little guy.
Oh, congratulations.
Yes. And I got another little guy already here. Is almost 2 years old. So that 30-minute method that you have, I think is going to help moms, dads, people that are really busy, people that are on multiple platforms. So guys, not to be not to say it again here, but I'm going to put their YouTube channel below. If you're watching this after the fact, their course below. Highly recommend it. You guys got their Facebook group you can get into with the course as well. And guys, thank you so much for joining. We had over 100 people watching. I hope that you guys all subscribe and join the flock, right?
Follow the flock.
Follow that flock.
Join the flock. You guys, they're making so much money that they're probably going to have little guys of their own sometime and come out of Poshmark.
Yeah, we're thinking about that in the future. So that's definitely in the cards.
Nice. Well, now that you know she's not actually going to physical parties and she's just sharing in a virtual one. All right, guys, you guys have seen my shows. I always close off with words of wisdom. Could be reselling related, could not be reselling related. It's up to you guys. What do you have for the crowd here? What can you give them to give them words of wisdom?
And then you want to do one? I would say always stay positive, and no matter what you're doing, have that positive light and throw that negativity out of your life and just stay positive as best as you can and for as long as you can, and that you're going to get great results with whatever you do.
Hey, I taught you that.
I know you did. That's why I'm saying it.
But that's mine. Positive attitude really makes positive results. I would tell him this. I was like, positive attitude, positive results. And he was like,
student became the teacher.
Over and over and over. I know. I was like, then I hear him saying it. I'm like, that's mine. Yeah. You know, even when negative stuff happens, there's a reason for it. And just find that reason and smile at that.
Take life one day at a time and you'll be good to go.
Mm-hmm.
Guys, thank you so much for joining. Guys, thank you so much for joining chat. If you guys want, after the show's done, put your Poshmark closet below so people can follow you guys. Fill the comments up with the Poshmark closet. Subscribe to their YouTube channel. I will see you in their chat. I promise you guys. And we do have a live show tomorrow. And again, guys, I appreciate you guys joining. You have a fantastic day. And join.
Hey, thanks for having us, man.
Awesome. Yeah, this is great.
Yes, join the flock, guys.
Hit that thumbs up button for Wade. Give him a like. Give him a thumbs up. Crush that like button.
Yeah.
Not only are you amazing man posture like myself, but it was a pleasure speaking with you today because it's a world run by women, and I'm glad that we're in here to do it together. So, guys, thank you so much.
All right.